Venus is the brightest planet in the night sky. Named after the goddess of beauty, Venus was once as blue as Mother Earth and considered Earth's twin sister. However, behind its brilliance, Venus hides its true hellish face. Hello to no one, and welcome back to the channel with no viewers. I am Planx Mysteries, and today, we will explore together Earth's twin sister, the hell planet known as Venus. To see Venus, the only thing we need to do is look up at the sky. With a reflectivity of up to 70%, Venus is one of the. To see Venus, the only thing we need to do is look up at the sky. With a reflectivity of up to 70%, Venus is one of the brightest objects in the solar system, and can be easily seen with the naked eye. For this reason, almost every ancient astronomer saw Venus and incorporated it into their studies. The earliest records of Venus were found in the Mesopotamian civilization during the Gemdit Nossa period, around 3100 to 2900 BC. Through the cylindrical tablets of the Mesopotamians, we can see the knowledge of ancient astronomers. Amazingly, from that distant era, ancient astronomers realized the morning star and evening star were one, and that was Venus. From these early discoveries, humans incorporated Venus into poetry and mythology. The Sumerians named the planet after their goddess Inanna. Later, when the Babylonians inherited that knowledge, they named the planet after their goddess of love, Ishtar. Later, when the Greeks inherited the astronomical treasure of the Babylonians, they brought the goddess of love up to that bright planet. Whether Venus or Ishtar, the goddess of love is a fitting name for Venus, for a simple reason. Love is dying a little in one's heart. Looking from Earth, ancient astronomers would only see a bright star. However, in the eyes of modern astronomers, this planet is very different. After astronomical observations and measurements, Venus appears as an almost perfect copy of Earth. Venus also has an atmosphere, an iron core, a rocky mantle, but the similarities don't stop there. Venus has a radius of 6,050, 1.8 kilometers, equivalent to 95% of Earth's. The planet's mass is also 80% of the blue planet, along with a bulk density of 95% compared to us. From that, gravity on the planet's surface is also close to Earth's, at 8.87 ms2, equivalent to 90% of Earth's. It can be seen that this copy is almost perfect, only differing by 5 to 10%. However, things that resemble us often bring the most terrifying nightmares. Venus is not Earth, and that is really worth pondering. First, almost every planet in the solar system rotates in the same direction, counterclockwise. However, Venus and Uranus are different. While Uranus tilts almost 90 degrees and rolls along its orbit, Venus is even more extreme, rotating 180 degrees clockwise. Why does Venus rotate in the opposite direction, compared to its sisters in the solar system? Astronomers have not been able to give an exact answer. However, with its position too close to the Sun, Venus certainly encountered gravitational incidents while still forming. One hypothesis is that the planet's rotation speed slowed down over time due to the Sun's gravity. From rotating counterclockwise, Venus was pulled back to the point of standing still, and then its atmosphere started to reverse direction, causing the entire planet to rotate backwards. This hypothesis explains why Venus's atmosphere rotates dizzyingly fast, and why a day on Venus is so long. As Earth's twin, a day on Mars is almost one Earth day, closer to the Sun. A day on Mercury is 59 Earth days. Venus, on the other hand, has a day nearly equal to 1 year on the blue planet, to 243 days. Life on this planet would likely be extremely harsh under the heat of the Sun, when a day is nearly a year long like that. However, the above view is just fanciful. life on Venus would be no different than hell on Earth. The reason for this is quite simple. This is a dead planet. The reason Venus is the brightest in the night sky is not because the planet is close to the Sun. The top spot belongs to Mercury. However, Mercury is not nearly as bright, and is almost obscured by sunlight. So what makes Venus so dazzlingly bright? Because it is close to both the Sun and Earth. Sunlight reflected back from Venus to Earth is very clear. However, that is only half the reason. The remainder is because Venus's thick atmosphere reflects up to 70% of the sunlight shining on it. That is why the planet glows so brightly. But Earth also has an atmosphere, as Earth's twin. Why does Venus shine so brilliantly? The biggest difference lies in the atmosphere itself. On the blue planet, we have air made up mainly of nitrogen and oxygen, plus a large enough amount of CO2 to cause the greenhouse effect, which is making our planet heat up more every day. For Venus, everything is much more horrific. With 96% of its atmosphere made of CO2, Venus suffers from a greenhouse effect at the most alarming level. The dense air on the planet traps heat from sunlight, causing the entire atmosphere to boil like an inferno. From that, the planet's surface temperature shoots up to an unimaginable 470 C, claiming the top spot for the most scorching planet in the entire solar system. In short, anyone who sets foot on Venus will also be violently burnt alive. That's not all. With such a dense atmosphere, pressure on the planet's surface increases to unbelievable levels. Standing on the surface of Venus would feel like being under 900 meters deep in the ocean. Landing on Venus without protective gear would be crushed immediately. Additionally, this atmosphere is also extremely brutal. It only takes 4 Earth days to complete one revolution around the planet of love. At that speed, winds on Venus blow at speeds equivalent to 360 kilometers per hour, accompanied by Category 5 tornadoes. But it's not just devastating storms. Venus also contains torrential rains of sulfuric acid H2SO4, much more terrifying than the acid rain on Earth. However, these droplets of acid never touch the ground, because the planet's extreme temperature immediately vaporizes the acid, turning it into water vapor and sulfur dioxide. With the above characteristics, we can easily guess how extremely difficult the landing process on this planet would be. Despite being the planet closest to Earth, landing on Venus is truly very difficult. After launching the spacecraft away from Earth, the satellite would have to guess where it would land, because the dense atmosphere makes determining the landing site nearly impossible. Passing through the enormous cloud layer, the satellite will be swept away by terrible gusts of wind. After being whipped around, the satellite would still have to withstand the massive acid splash, followed by immersing itself in the corrosive, lead-melting hot atmosphere. If the satellite somehow makes it to the surface after the planet's fierce defenses, it would have to work quickly before running out of energy. Venus' thick atmosphere blocks sunlight from reaching the ground. Therefore, despite being the brightest planet at night, the surface of Venus is pitch black, and the solar panels of satellites would soon have to retire. In February 1961, the Soviet Union's Unveiling tried to land on Venus, but failed. A year later, Unveiling met a similar fate. In July 1962, the United States also sent a spacecraft to Venus, Mariner 1, which could only fly past Venus and not land. The following month, the United States Mariner 2 was able to successfully directly approach. However, Mariner 2 still could not land on Venus. In subsequent years, from 1962 to the end of 1969, the space race between the US and USSR sent many spacecraft to Venus, such as to MV-1, 4, to MV-2, 1, 3 MV-1A, Cosmos 27, Zone 1, Venera 2, all failed to land. It was not until 1970 that Venera 7 finally made a breakthrough by successfully landing on the planet. Venera 7's journey brought back almost all the information needed about Venus' atmosphere for subsequent, more successful trips. In 1975, Venera 9 was the first probe to bring back a photo taken on Venus' surface. After that were Venera 10, Venera 13, and Venera 14. After Venera 14's success in 1983, we have gone through 4 full decades, but those still remain the only photos taken on the planet, before the probes had to retire. Why are we so interested in Venus like that? What is so special about this extraterrestrial hell, that we have sent over 40 suicidal probes, which could only tell us very little about this place? The answer is actually quite bright. Like the light of the morning star and evening star, Venus' glow is a ray of hope for humanity. If we understand Venus, we will find the cure for the global warming situation today. But not only that, we may also find alien life on Venus. Life in outer space hell. This is quite laughable. However, we have the right to hope for this because up until now, technology has begun to catch up with hypotheses. Living on the surface of this planet is completely impossible. The temperature, pressure and air are too extreme for anything to exist. However, the atmosphere is another story. Phosphine pH3 is a compound between hydrogen and phosphorus. This is a colorless, highly toxic, flammable, and extremely difficult to synthesize compound. The reason it is difficult to synthesize is because it is produced during the decay of animal carcasses, specifically from bones. This is the compound that burns at night in cemeteries that we call ghost lights. Phosphine is a sign that life once existed because it is produced from the death of organisms. And, amazingly, phosphine appears in Venus' atmosphere. Why is this? Why does gas emitted from corpses exist in the atmosphere of a dead planet? This question has met scientists racking their brains for solutions, because phosphine's existence on a rocky planet is almost impossible. Its appearance on Venus challenges our knowledge of rocky planets, or conversely, if our understanding of rocky planets is adequate, then something has and is happening on Venus to allow phosphine to exist, and that may be a sign of life. How could life exist in Venus' atmosphere? We can hardly say. However, there is one thing we should believe in, and that is the miracle of the universe. A planet that once collided with a twin planet, creating a 23-degree tilt and gaining a natural satellite, created life. So why couldn't a planet that is Earth's twin, with an opposite rotation to other planets, a deadly atmosphere accompanied by horrendous acid storms, create life? This is the question that the upcoming 2029, 2030 and 2031 Venus missions of NASA and ESA's Da Vinci, Envision and Veritas will answer. For now, let's look up at the sky together and await the miracles to come from the universe. And that was the story of Venus, the dead planet in outer space. What do you think about this planet? Is hell real? Or the hope for extraterrestrial life? Share your perspectives in the comments below. And if you like content like this, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to Planx Mysteries, and click the notification bell to miss any future videos. You can also support us directly with the thanks button. For now, thank you and see you next time. Peace.